Hi everyone, I'm Nizzahon, and today I'm bringing you a gameplay video here on the official Magic the Gathering YouTube channel. This video is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. I'm recording this during the early access event for the Brothers War, so this is the very first time I'll be playing Sealed in this new format. Sealed is a format where you get 6 booster packs, you open them, and you make the best deck that you can, and then you play against people who did the same thing. So let's jump into this event and see what cards we get. So first it will show us what our rares are. That's always fun. Okay, so we have some powerful ones. We actually have 2 more because this set has these retro frame artifacts, which are, you know, like famous Magic cards that are reprinted in this set, and they're available on Arena now. We got Sundering Titan, which is actually one of my favorite Magic cards ever. Unfortunately, it's not very good in Limited because, you know, even if you ramp into it, its enter the battlefield and leave the battlefield ability aren't that good unless you, like, cheat it into play like people do in Constructed. But we have some other really good Limited stuff. Siege Veteran's going to be great. That makes me want to be in white. We have Urza Lord Protector, which kind of makes me want to be in white-blue. Melding's hard to do in Limited, but the card's good anyway. We've also got Drafna, who fits well into, like, a blue-white deck that's doing artifact stuff, although blue-white in this format is really into soldiers. Blast Zone's probably going to make our deck just because it's a nice utility land. And Blade Coil Serpent is powerful, but we have to end up in the Grixis colors, or, you know, at least one of these colors to play it. So we'll see what happens. All right, so here are all of our other cards. I want to see what signpost uncommons we got. Those are the gold cards that sort of tell you what you're supposed to do synergy-wise in a color pair. Okay, we got the blue-white one, which likes soldiers, so that's nice. We have Evangel of Synthesis, Evangel of Synthesis. Battery Bearer is really strong. You know, blue-green wants to be ramping. Blue-black wants to draw extra cards. Blue-white is about soldiers. We got some other retro frame artifacts. Unfortunately, the ones we have aren't amazing and limited. You know, Black Blade Reforged isn't too bad, but most of them, the retro frames we got aren't that great and limited. Some nice colorless cards too. So, yeah, I think, you know, what I like to do when I do Sealed is sort of go through and grab cards that I think are like solid, playable, or better, and sort of see what it is that we're going to end up with. And so let's start with white. I am leaning a little towards blue-white between Urza, the 3-mana, the Siege Veteran, and the Signpost Uncommon that we have, the blue-white one. So we'll see what we got. But Military Discipline's definitely playable. It's like a trick that's also an aura, which is cool. It sticks around. It's not amazing, but it's fine. And if we're a soldier deck, we want Survivor of Corliss. This happens to be a soldier too. Disenchant's main boardable in this format. There's lots of artifacts to blow up. Power Stone Engineer's nice. Siege Veteran's nice. I don't like Union of the Third Path a whole lot. We do have Power Blades, which equip more cheaply to soldiers, which I am somewhat interested in. We'll grab them. Warlord's Elite. You know, if we are into soldiers, we probably play it. Same for the Medic. This gets us back in Artifact, and we're likely to have enough that we probably want to do it, so I'm going to grab her too. And then Mass Production makes 4 soldiers. We might want to run that. All right, and then in blue, we have one of the common soldier payoffs. This can give soldiers flying, so it's looking pretty good. We do need a lot of artifacts for Drafna to be at its best, so we'll have to see if we get there or not. I do think Combat Courier's fine. I guess I'll go ahead and grab it. If we don't have a lot of artifacts or graveyard stuff, I don't think we want the Archaeologist. Machine Over Matter, it's okay. I'm more likely to play it in like a spell-heavy deck. I think we grab, for sure, Zephyr Sentinel. This is another soldier payoff, and just a good card in general. Third Path Savant is fine. It does look like our blue is pretty shallow. Our white is pretty deep. We don't really want Flow of Knowledge. It's hard to play this successfully in a limited deck because you just don't have enough islands. So, it's interesting. You know, we don't have a whole lot of removal in these 2 colors. We'd have some soldier synergy, which is nice, especially once we throw in, you know, some of our other stuff. But we have Gix's Command. That's one of the rares we didn't see. Our black actually looks quite good, just from a quick look there. But let's go ahead and see what this blue-white deck ultimately would look like. So we'd play Urza. We would play the Tactician, for sure. Like I said, Blast Zone probably makes the cut. You know, blows stuff up, and it's a land. So, you know, that's always nice. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we got there on synergy to some extent in blue-white, but in terms of actual card quality, like power level, I don't really feel like we got there, and that is kind of sad. We may end up playing white. I think our white feels pretty good. Our blue feels less than good. So, yeah, blue is not deep at all, which is sad. Luckily, Urza's not, like, incredible, so that doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I think this is the best rare. Well, Gix's Command's probably better, but it's a very good rare, so I'm happy to have it. So I'm kind of hoping we can play white. That does seem approachable. The blue we got is just not that good. And, you know, that's what you have to contend with in Sealed a lot of the time is, you know, figuring out what makes sense for you to do with the pool you open because, you know, you can't add cards to it or anything. You just have to figure it out. But in black, I mean, I like what I see. We have 2 Disfigures, great removal spell, and that's one thing we were really short on. Like, if we go blue, you know, we would be playing Machine over Matter, but a bounce spell like this isn't really a removal spell. I mean, it kind of is, but you go down a card, you make your opponent recast something, and I don't love doing that when I don't have, like, spell payoffs on top of it. I mean, we have, like, fine blue cards, but not really enough of them, basically. Whereas our black looks pretty appealing. So Disfigures are great. Dreams of Steel and Oil is very playable. You know, it hits a lot of things in the format, and I think in Sealed it's probably even better when games tend to be slower. Emergency Weld is good, gets a creature back. Thraxodemon's fine. I think Gurgling Anointer is great. We do need to draw some extra cards to really feel good about it, but I think we could get there. Moment of Defiance is a solid trick. The Gigamole is not bad. It gets you a creature back from the graveyard. Scrapwork Rager is a really good comment, and I'm happy to take it here. You know, it can ultimately draw you 2 cards between casting it and unearthing it, and if you can also trade it off, you get like a 3-for-1, which is awesome. And then Gix's Command is super powerful, so I'm pretty excited to get it. I don't love Trench Stalker, but it may make the cut. What do our other colors look like? Is there anything I feel like I'm missing out on in red? Not really. Not really. You know, I do like, you know, the prototype mechanic's cool because you can play these cheap early and then as a big thing late. And these 2 are pretty nice. Unleash Shell is a pretty nice removal spell. What's our green look like? Also not amazing. So I kind of feel like black-white may be where we end up. We do have these Boulder Branch Golems, which are quite good. We have a removal spell in Epic Confrontation. So, we didn't really get a signpost that works here. I wonder if I play Blade Coil Serpent in this deck. I probably do. You know, it's going to be easy to make it a 6-mana 5/4 that makes them discard a card, and that's fine. And sometimes it'll be better than that. Yeah. I think this is the right way for us to go. We didn't really, you know, we have a choice between, like, a synergistic but less powerful blue-white deck and a more powerful but less synergistic black-white deck. Overall, we do have, well, we probably don't want these Power Blades anymore, actually. Let's get rid of those. So there are a few cards we have that care about artifacts, and we kind of need more artifacts if we're going to play them. So there's a few cards that aren't amazing if we take out a bunch of soldiers also. So what else do we change here? Like, I don't really want mass production. Like, I don't really have a reason for this in this deck anymore. You know, making 4 soldiers is okay, but yeah, they're all artifacts, which is nice. So I don't think we would play it. I do think we're drawing enough extra cards for the Anointer. And, like, Survivor of Corliss isn't something I love if we're, you know, moving away from a soldier deck. So we've got 12 creatures. Interesting. So we do have Blackblade Reforged, but if we're not using mana, like if we don't have Power Stones, a lot of them, so it's hard for us to reliably equip it. Yeah. Sundering Titan is cool. So Mineworker is fine. I mean, we have a bunch of cards, artifacts we could put in the deck, but I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe white's not the best place for us, but we do have the very powerful... where is it? The Soldier Siege Veteran, which makes me wish I could at least splash it or something, but I wonder if blue-black is better. Like, we have these draw 2 payoffs. Blue was pretty shallow, but if we think about it from a draw 2 perspective, it looks a little bit better. But, yeah, I mean, because we have, like, Combat Courier, which draws us cards. This draws us cards. This likes it when we draw cards. Yeah, still don't love it, though. Still don't love it. I think we probably just end up going black-white. I think it's where we have the best cards. We just have to figure out what our last few playables should be. I mean, the firebombs aren't terrible, and if we are running Loron, they do get better, especially in sealed. I mean, I don't love them, but getting them back is nice, and I do think we probably take the Blade Coil. It's not going to be amazing in our deck, but, you know, playing it as a 6-mana 5/4 that makes them discard is fine. You know, we have some other artifacts that do things, you know, like these two replace themselves, and they can fix to some extent, but they're clunky at it, so it's not like I feel great about that. Yeah, Mind Worker's fine. I wonder if the Exemplar's fine. It's going to be hard for us to cast it only using one color is the thing. So I don't love that. So maybe we put in one Firebomb as our 40th card. Although, you know, ways to draw extra cards are a little better thanks to the Anointer, but... So maybe one of these that replaces themselves is like, okay. But we have a few ways to draw cards in the deck already. So, you know, not a million, which would obviously be better, but we have them. Yeah. But yeah, our black is good. It's, you know, one thing that is sort of a problem for this sealed pool is we don't have any great removal. You know, like Disfigure's great, but we don't really have anything that kills really big stuff. I guess Gix's Command does it, but that's it. All right, yeah. So let's put in a Firebomb. You know, how many artifacts does that give us? It gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 to get back with Loron, and that's fine, I think. Yeah, 4. I mean, more would be better, but I can live with 4. All right, so I think this is our deck. Got, you know, really powerful cards in Gix's Command and Siege Veteran. Those, I think, are going to carry us a lot. They have lots of solid stuff mixed in as well. So now we'll play our games. Okay. All right, this is a pretty good opening hand. Yeah. Got removal, 2-drop. This 3-drop may or may not actually get played on turn 3. Probably need a little help because, you know, you actually have to have 2 untapped things for it to actually work. But we could get there. All right, so if they kill our early Mind Worker here, we know we can get it back later with Loron. That's some good value. Looks like they are killing it. We'll be getting it back. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer they didn't kill it, but knowing I can get it back softens the blow. We didn't get any Evolving Wilds, sadly. It does mean we can't play our Warlord's Elite, like, at all. So, we don't have any play this turn, unfortunately. But next turn, we play Loron, get back the Worker. Yeah, we can't do anything about that with Disfigure. Okay. I do think we play Loron here rather than Dreams of Steel and Oil. This is pretty powerful payoff. Ooh, that's a nice card to get from the, what's it called? The, Retro Frame Artifacts. Helps you ramp. I think we probably try to kill the thing. Yeah. I'm gonna attack first. Because maybe they do something crazy like double block. I don't think they will, but I don't think we have much to lose by attacking. I guess we could Dreams of Steel and Oil them first so we know more of what's going on over there. Let's do that. Let's find out what they can do and can't do. Okay. Ooh. So they have 2 big prototype creatures that are going to be a pretty big problem late. Am I more concerned about the flyer? I think probably yes. So let's go ahead and hit the Thopter. Yeah, and then we'll attack them. See what happens. So they do have removal. And they can also get back Burnished Heart one way or another with Emergency Weld. We have one of those too, but don't have it right now. So I think we cast Disfigure before we let them ramp. You know, at least make them get it back one way or another. Then we'll play Mine Worker. So Weak Stone Subjugation may go on Loron here. I think it's more likely they get the heart back using Emergency Weld. I guess... Could I have... Man. So if I had killed that first, I could have exiled it from the graveyard, and that is definitely what I should have done. It is not what I did, but it is what I should have done. Because then I could have exiled it after killing it, and then they wouldn't have been able to get it back. So... Alright, so we're going to attack here with Loron. I'm sure they block, but it's basically a free attack. You know, I don't lose anything by attacking, and if they don't block, we get in for some damage. Can I play both of these? No. I probably just play Trench Stalker, although maybe we'd rather them use the Subjugation on this. I guess I would. Yeah, let's go ahead and play this, and I'm just going to tap the lands. Yeah, we'll play out this Swamp too. We are kind of out of gas. Drawing one of our big, powerful rares would be good. Maybe what we need to do here. But yeah, definitely should have killed the thing first. I mean, I kind of wanted to look at their hand so I knew if they could do anything with one blue, but that was probably unnecessary. We will gain a life here. Okay. Guess I'm going to attack again. We continue to not really lose anything by doing so. And at some point, we do actually have a trick that would be kind of funny to draw. We'll play our Trench Stalker now. So they could play the War Plow and plan to trade with my Stalker. That's fine with us, I think. They may just have removal, too. We don't know the entire contents of their hand anymore. Looks like they probably have removal. I guess maybe they're just looking at the Stalker, but, you know, when somebody hovers that much, it usually means they're like, should I kill this? Yeah, so they just play their small Death Touch prototype. Wonder what they might have to ramp into here. It's a little scary. There's lots of good stuff to ramp into in the format because of prototype. Nice. That's a good draw because, well, I guess it doesn't actually help that much. I was thinking Death Touch and Lifelink are amazing here, but they can just trade. Nonetheless, we play the Rager here. Draw into a Power Stone Engineer. I have one way to get things back. Actually, I have two ways to get things back from my graveyard. So I think we probably do just swing and then play Power Stone Engineer. I think I'm kind of okay with attacking with Loron and Trench Stalker here. Yeah, I am. They block again. So we're going to lose our creature. We do gain life, which matters. They lose their creature too. Then we'll play out another one. We kind of want to trade this off so we can unearth it. Oh no. I think this is the biggest bomb in the format, so it coming down is not good news. It makes tokens. They're going to draw first, interestingly. It makes some really scary tokens that get bigger every time they, you know, use them. Every time they draw a card, rather. So, yeah. Not really what I wanted to see here. So, okay. Yeah, so let's attack with both of these. I actually don't have great blocks for both of them. They do for our 2/1s, unfortunately. He's going to go up to 4 loyalty just from them drawing a card, which is rough. I don't have any removal that kills planeswalkers either, so... We do get to hit him. I don't hate that. So I'll play our Gigamole here. We'd like to get a creature card back, but a 3/4 isn't too bad on this board either. Alright, so we do get a creature card back in Thraxodemon, and then we can just play it. We're going pretty wide here, which is nice. But we're facing down Teferi, so that part isn't nice. We haven't even hit them yet, have we? We have all these creatures, but they've just sort of not done anything. Oh, good. They have a Ramos Dragon Engine, too. That's what you want to see. So this is also quite good. It's one of the retro frame cards. So we're in trouble. I mean, you know, got a bunch of creatures, but it doesn't really matter. Staring down Teferi. Oh, this can actually deal with Teferi. Interesting. That is interesting. I forgot we had one of those. So we no longer have attacks that make any sort of sense. I mean, maybe Scrapwork Rager makes a tiny bit of sense. Trying to decide if I want to draw or anything. So I've got Teferi and Ramos to deal with now. We at least have Disenchant for Ramos. We don't have any other outs for Teferi but this Firebomb. And we also need one more mana, which Power Stone Engineer would give us, so maybe I swing with it just to do it. Yeah, alright. So I think we send in both of those. See what they do about them. They have to block both if they want Teferi to stay alive. I could swing out, but I think it would be devastating for us in the long run. Alright, so we do get a Power Stone, so we know we can use our Firebomb next turn. So there's that. So let's play our Firebomb. Ooh, that's Flash. Not a great idea to play it the way I did. Yeah, this is the first time I've played this format, so I've made a couple of little mistakes. You know, the one where they didn't get back Burnished Heart was the other one. Yoshin Medic, do I want to play it? I guess there's no reason not to. You know, I could sacrifice the Elite to draw a card. Maybe I just want to do that, because it's tapped down. I'm just going to do that now. Ooh, except... it actually taps my demon. Alright, so we're just going to play the medic in the turn. So this becomes a 3/3. Teferi gets another loyalty. Yeah. I did a top 10 bombs video, and this was #1 for me. So seeing it in my very first game in the new limited format's a little rough. We do have two pretty powerful cards in our deck, too, that we need to find. We do get to kill Teferi this next turn, but he'll have already given them the value of multiple cards and this. So it's like, you know, what's the big deal?
It's nice to see a familiar face.
I mean, I could consider killing Ramos instead, because at this point, the amount of value Teferi has gained them almost makes it kind of pointless for me to blow up Teferi, I feel like. I mean, he's going to keep generating insane value is the thing, but... okay. We will gain a life. We will draw a land. Interesting. So, do I kill Teferi or the Dragon Engine? I mean, it's probably Teferi. I have outs to deal with Ramos. I have some of my own flyers and stuff. Our command will kill Ramos. So yeah, I think we try to kill Teferi here. He even gets exiled, which is nice, but we'll We'll just do it now because, you know, waiting till their turn seems like a bad idea. Let's see if they have an answer. If they have a way to stop this, we're pretty much dead. Ooh, yeah, that hurts. Okay. So, they're going to put it on top of their library. So, it only sort of, kind of does it. But no, we're pretty much dead. The fact they were able to save it is nightmarish. If I'd waited till their turn, I guess they would have used this and then had to draw it next turn. But, yeah, not good. Not good. Here comes Teferi again. While those grow. Hello, Teferi.
Heard you needed a hero. Here I am. Everywhere.
Gonna be tough. We're at a lot of life, but it's going to quickly start going down in the near future. I may just attack with Ramos here, in fact. Nice news is, if we, like, draw another land here, I can at least throw away Warlord's Elite and try to draw a real card. They're being very passive. I guess they're worried about me threatening Teferi, so we do draw another land. Yeah, I think that means we want to crack... ooh, that is something I want to do at some point, but I'd rather hold on to the Rager for now. Ooh, Blast Zone. Interesting. Too bad it enters with a charge counter, or I could blow up all the tokens. Alright, so play Blast Zone here. So we can get it up to 3 charge counters. That's not nearly enough. 5 is Teferi, and 6 is Ramos. I mean, getting it to 3 would allow me to blow both of these up the next turn, but that's hardly notable. I mean, I think we just... yeah, I mean, we're going to add counters to it. Probably try to kill Teferi, I guess. If I could remove a charge counter, I would, because the tokens are the real problem, but I can't. So, entering with a charge counter is interesting in terms of design, because they made sure it wouldn't be too good against tokens by doing so, but also, you know, at least it starts with something. And when you're not dealing with tokens, you'd rather it start with something. But we're dealing with tokens, so yeah, about time. We're in trouble. So we're gonna block the biggest one with Scrapwork Rager. Am I gonna block beyond that? I don't know if I will. There's such a good chance they have a trick or a way to draw a card at instant speed. I'm going to try to double block the smaller one, so even if they do draw a card, I get to kill it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best we're going to do. Good chance they have a way to interact, though. Okay, maybe not. Wing Commando is sweet. All right, so there's Ramos getting even bigger. So 3 now does kill Wing Commando, Burnished Heart, and Battlefield Butcher. That's a thing, I guess. So put charge counters on this. Gain a life. There's our trick that would have been useful earlier. So we can get it up to... We have 8. I mean, we could get it to 7. But just killing Ramos and just... I mean, it almost feels like it might be better to kill 2... To kill all 3 of these creatures than it is to kill just Teferi or just Ramos. Wild as that is. So I think we're going to unearth our Scrapwork Rager and see what happens there. I can send it in, and Moment of Defiance is kind of interesting in that respect. So we get to draw another card. I think we send in the Rager. If they let it slip through, we can kill Teferi with Moment of Defiance. I kind of don't think they will. And they may also have a way to interact if I do try to kill it. All right. So I think we do use the Moment here. It does mean we're only adding 1 Blast Stone counter this turn. But I get to draw another card, which might find us one of our really powerful cards. And I gain back some life. If they have a way to interact with the Rager in response, we're not going to be very happy. But I think we got to do it. So I guess I could threaten to crack this in response instead, but I don't think I want to. Do they have interaction? They do not. They do make us lose 2 life, but then we gain back 4. So, okay. That is something. Meanwhile, still dealing with all the horrors of Teferi and Ramos Dragon Engine, but hey. I'm starting to feel like there's probably not a way out. We'll keep trying, but... Yeah, I mean, they can attack pretty effectively, unfortunately. So, I'm going to try to kill one of these. Could go horribly wrong, but... And I mean, we're going to take 15 here, so... Or 16, but I think we kind of have to. They may just have spells to kill us, but, you know. We've been behind the 8-ball basically this whole game. There's not much we can do other than try not to die for another turn. Rough that we actually managed to deal with Teferi, but they had... that response that they had. Could have gained a life there, and I probably should have, but look at our board. It doesn't really matter. All right. Emergency Weld. That does let us add 2 things to the board. Actually, if I get back Loron, I can add 3 things to the board. Could even get back the Firebomb. But that's not going to be enough to save us because our opponent has flyers. So, we'll do it, but... Get back Loron. Sweet value play feels good, at least. You know, sort of seeing what our deck can and can't do, even in this game that we lose. Because adding 3 things to the board here is, like, pretty serious value, but it's not going to matter in the end. We dead to flyers. Yeah. If I was going to live another turn, I would have gotten the removal spell, but we're not going to live another turn. So, so we'll just pass. Let our opponent finish us off with their Teferi Ramos Engine action. Well, my suspicion that Teferi's the biggest bomb in the format has been validated, I think. I think we had, you know, a pretty valiant effort, all things considered. It is rough that we only had 13 left and we didn't draw either of our big rares. But, you know, what are you going to do? We even have the 3rd rare, which would have made them discard 3 cards. And we didn't draw it either, the Serpent. Because we could have paid 6 for it and paid black twice. So... All right, we do have a pretty good opening hand, and we're going first. You know, got an early drop, removal. You know, you never really want your recursion spell in your opening hand, but knowing we have it is nice. We do need more mana, of course. So that would be good. Okay. Could disenchant this. Disfigure doesn't really do the job because my creature would die. Could also just play Thraxodemon. It kind of feels like disenchant's not a bad plan. Although building out the board a little more is nice when we have a trick in hand too. Yeah. I think I'm just going to play Thraxodemon and pass. Drawing a third land there is pretty big. We're not really in a good position to attack and use a trick, though, is the bad news. However, I think using Disenchant now is pretty attractive. The reason I don't want to attack and use a trick is with 2 blue and 1 white up, they can do so many things to interact with us. So I think we just cast Disenchant on the Bulwark rather than try to attack and then use the trick. Okay, so they're going to flash that in. That doesn't hurt my feelings too much. I can even just disfigure it right away. And I think I probably do. Although, maybe not. I would be okay with a trade for my Power Stone Engineer, for example. So. And then I think I'll just hold on to Disfigure for now. See if they play something I want to disfigure more on their turn. Can't quite kill that with Disfigure, but he is very scary. Makes artifact creatures bigger, and then can generate copies of creatures that are artifacts, so they're 3/3s. We will attack and kind of hope they block. You know, that's kind of what we want to happen here. I doubt it will, but that's the plan. Yeah. I mean, why block? We're just going to try to race them here. So I think we play Gigamole now. I wonder whether I just want to make it a 3/4. I may not have the option because if I don't hit a creature, it's just a 3/4 anyway. But yeah, I think we play the Gigamole. Alright, we do hit a creature. Do I want to draw Warlord's Elite or make this a 3/4? I think with the trick in our hand, it's probably just better to grab another creature than it is to make it a 3/4. Because the trick will help push through damage, theoretically. Yeah, so that's a 4/5. It's not good. It's not looking great for us. Another powerful rare is in the way. Do I just pay 5 for Warlord's Elite? Probably not. It's probably better to tap these two. That way I can leave up Disfigure. I can only tap 1 and then leave up Disfigure 2, though. That's probably what I do. So we will tap. I'd like to trade the Engineer more so I can get a Power Stone. So we're going to tap that and this. It will be frustrating if we get crushed by another rare here, and then don't draw ours at all again. It happens, though. You know, it all evens out in the end, is what I always say, and it's true. So, given what's going on, I think I disfigure the Paratrooper, because now they're going to be able to buff their whole board. So I think I'm going to try to kill the Paratrooper here. They don't have 5 to buff the whole board right now, so looks like they can save it. Or maybe not. Flash in another one, though. That works. Okay, we're unfortunately 1 mana shy of playing this and making them discard their last card. Which is pretty brutal. We do attack with Warlord's Elite here. It's a good attack thanks to our trick. It might even be worth attacking with more because at least I can emergency weld and get stuff back. Wouldn't mind a Power Stone, for example. Yeah, I'm going to swing with both of these. What did they name here? Creature, so their creatures cost less. Unfortunately, Urza's ability is going to start being a serious problem. Do I use Moment of Defiance just to draw? I don't think so. I could use Thraxodemon to sacrifice the Engineer and get it back and draw a card. That might just be better after we get in for 6 here. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Let's use the Thraxodemon, sack the Engineer. All right. Then we're going to Emergency Weld. Get back the Engineer. We have them down to 6, and we have a trick in our hand. That always gives you a chance to punch through for damage. But this can tap it's 6 mana and make copies of either of these, which is pretty bad news for us. They are 1/1 copies. They'll be 3/3s because Urza's in play, but yeah. All right, Airlift Chaplain. Pretty good for them. I wonder if they just unearth that. They do. They do go to 5, making it more possible for us to find lethal. So I think we again attack with Warlord's Elite here. We can cast Blade Coil now and make them discard a card, which is nice. But obviously if they block, we're going to use Moment of Defiance. And if they don't block, we're going to use Moment of Defiance. So, because that would kill them. All right, they have 1 blue up. Let's see if this just kills them. They could have the mana they need to bounce it. There is a 1 blue spell that can allow them to bounce it, but doesn't look like they have it. Nice. Well, didn't get crushed by the rare that time, luckily. We managed to just sort of outrace him before Urza generated absurd value. All right, pretty good hand. You know, 2-drop, 3-drop, and one of the most powerful cards in our deck. And we haven't gotten to play it yet either. We haven't got to play any of our rares. We had the Serpent in our opening hand, or in our hand last time, and we were on the verge of casting it, but we won before it mattered, which is a good problem to have. So, so Soldier deck, but they didn't have a Soldier to reveal in their hand, or maybe they just didn't see a reason to reveal one because they couldn't use the mana, actually. Okay. We do need another black at some point to fire this bad boy off. Removal spell, makes a creature bigger. Lots of good options. Alright, so we will attack for 2. Looks like our opponent has mana problems, unfortunately for them. They may have a counterspell, though. Didn't have one there. Do I want to lead with Scrapwork Rager this next turn, or do I want to play the Gigamole? Gigamole does more to, like, set up our Gix's command, theoretically. But at the same time, I could also play Warlord's Elite. Tap a land and the medic just to get a 4/4 out there. That seems pretty good, actually, for now. So let's attack with Power Stone Engineer alone here. And then we're going to play Warlord's Elite. Tap both of these. May have removal here. Static Net or the other one. The 4 mana enchantment that exiles something and gives them a Power Stone. Or Prison Sentence, yeah, that too. they attack us here, I wonder? Probably. I mean, I can swing back for 3 and gain back 1, but... yeah. Alright, we did draw our other black mana, which means Gix's command is now online. So I can cast this to kill their wing commando and then put 2 counters on something and give it lifelink. That's probably just what we do. Like, it's a really aggressive play, but it's a hard one for them to come back from. I mean, I could wait till I could get more value. Like, getting back creatures is more valuable, but this is the play that eliminates their board while building ours significantly. So I think we just do it. So... put 2 counters on a thing and make them sack their creature. And we'll put the counters... permanent lifelink. We'll put it here, yeah. Why is it letting me select more than 1 creature? Yeah, that's weird. It shouldn't be. But now we swing for 5. Meanwhile, we have some really good value cards in our hand. Alright, so they kill that. Okay, so we will attack them with our medic here, should they allow us to. And I think we play Trench Stalker. Then we can start drawing extra cards and getting the triggers going. Do they have counter magic? They do. Okay. The fact that they were able to answer our big buffed creature that turn, it's not something I love. What did they make a copy of? Nothing? Yeah, they didn't have anything to make a copy of. Oh, hello, Siege Veteran. Nice to see you here today. So, yeah, obviously this attack accomplishes nothing but gaining us life. They may take the 2 because we have mana up, and we do actually have a trick we could cast. We just don't actually have it. So, but sometimes you have to respect that in Limited. You know, you can't block in a situation where there's multiple tricks that blow you out, and that is what would happen here. So we got our 2 most powerful cards in this game, back to back, pretty much, back to back turns anyway. Which is pretty sweet. This is also a soldier, so if it does die, we get a 1/1 soldier. You know, in addition to the Luminarch Aspirant type ability where I get a counter every combat. And then we have, we've got 2 really good value creatures in our hand that will likely draw... well, this will draw us a card, and this will probably draw us a card, so... Does our opponent block? They don't. And we know that was free, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean, I think if I were them, I wouldn't block either. They may be able to kill the veteran now, but at least we got a counter of value out of it. No, maybe not. Still could, of course. Okay, so I think I want to play the Rager. Let's play the Rager and see what happens. What do we draw? Oh, hello. Well, there's our other rare, and we will be able to cast it next turn and make them discard 1. So I like that. We're going to put the counter here again. And I think we attack. We're obviously capable of netting way more life than they are. You know, they can block, but if all they do is gain 1 and, we come out ahead. No attacks. Disfigure. Okay, so I think I'm going to play the Serpent up front and just make them discard. I guess if I do that, I telegraph that I don't have tricks. Yeah, we probably don't want to do that yet. I'll do it in the second main phase, probably. So let's put a counter here yet again. I could put it on the Ragers so I can have 2 attackers, but I like that they can't block this effectively now with either creature, you know. So I'm going to take the 4. They could have counter magic up, and that's sort of what they're waiting for, but yeah, we go ahead and just play Blade Coil here for... Oh, we don't want to pay anything for X. Doesn't do anything for us to do so. See if they counter this. They could have a sweeper. That would be rough. But I do at least get a 1-1. Actually, I would get 2 1-1s if they played a sweeper. So, because these are both soldiers. What do we make them discard? Skitterbeam Battalion. So, they're missing red mana, or they were just planning on paying 9 for it. Yeah. They must have just been planning on paying 9 for it at some point. I'm sure they have a bunch of Power Stones and they didn't get them. All right, so that's a 2-for-1, so we love the exchange. You know, they had to discard a thing and then use a removal spell on it. So that's 2 cards, and we only used 1. Those are sort of bread and butter in Limited. They're going to curate. This thing is truly absurd if you can actually trigger the others. But even if you can just trigger one, it's like, fine. You know, like, what we just did was a nice play. Not absurd or anything, but nice. Alright, so let's go to combat. I think we just buffed the medic yet again. Yeah, because it's lethal on its own. So they've got to block it, one way or another. So we're going to play our Gigamole here. We mill 3 and then get to return a creature if we hit one. Alright, we'll get another Gigamole. That works. Do they have a sweeper is the question. Once again, I do get 2 soldiers in the event they have one. I think we just play another Gigamole. Gigamole into Gigamole. That time we did not hit anything, so it's just a 3-4. We hit, you know, non-creatures. Okay. So, the Warplow is annoying. However, I'm going to put a counter on... Yeah, we'll put a counter on this Gigamole, and I think we just swing out. Yeah, that does lethal. Yeah, we got all 3 of our rares that game, and they all performed quite well, unsurprisingly. They all did their job. All right. See if we can get another awesome opening hand here. It's okay. You know, the lack of white is a problem, but I have a 2-drop. And then I also have, you know, 2 cards that I can play with only black mana anyway. The Elite is awkward, but this is an okay hand. It's not a great one, but I think it's one you keep. You know, mulliganing, going down to 6 cards has a massive impact on your win percentage, and you know, my philosophy about it in Limited, we ended up lucking out and drawing white anyway, but my philosophy about it in Limited is generally, if I'm only missing one thing, you know, to make the hand go, which in this case is white mana, then I keep it. You know, that's sort of how I roll, and that is certainly what we had here. Are we down with a trade Thraxodemon for Rock Hunter? I don't know that I am, especially because next turn I can't play Warlord's Elite unless I have a creature in play. So I think maybe we just keep Thraxodemon around here. Because if I'm not able to play anything next turn, I think we end up too far behind. Yeah, so they're going to rumble. We take it. All right, this gets them an artifact. It's the mill card for this. They did not hit anything, but they get a 3/2, so that's the trade-off. So do I want to play Gigamole more than I want to play Warlord's Elite? I kind of think I want to play the Elite more. If only because I may not be able to play it again. You know, the requirement it asks of you is no small thing. I would be willing to trade Thraxodemon for the Scrapsmith, though. So maybe I just play Gigamole. Like, if they took 2, yeah, I'm going to attack. Then we'll play our Gigamole instead. No creatures there again, but a 3/4 is pretty nice on this board. Losing Emergency Weld is rough. But we do have Gix's Command for next turn. No creatures to return right now, so that's not really our game plan. But, you know, kill their best creature and get a couple counters is a relatively nice potential play. All right, they decide not to do anything. It's very dangerous for us to try to use this and put counters on something while they have a bunch of mana up, so I don't think we do. I do, however... I think we go ahead and attack, just attack with both our creatures and see what happens. Because then, I mean, worst case, like, say they kill both our creatures somehow. In our second main phase, we can cast Gix's Command, get them both back, and kill a creature. So, yeah. Sounds pretty good to me. See what they got. Alright, just trade for Thraxodemon. I don't think that means we play Gix's Command. I think we'll just play Warlord's Elite and tap 2 lands here. Counter Magic is very possible. And we'd kind of like them to use it on this rather than on one of these, so... Interesting. Well, I continue to be afraid of trying to do anything, you know, that targets my own creatures. And I don't really see a reason to do it yet. I mean, I don't have to. I could kill their creature and get 2 of our things back. But with counter magic such a real possibility, and us having a pretty good board state, I think we probably just rumble again and maybe play Blade Coil and make them discard 2 in our second main phase. That's what will happen if Blade Coil resolves here, which is pretty sweet. That's when you're talking about a card that feels more like a bomb. 6 mana, 5/4, makes your opponent discard 2. That's pretty serious. Looks like they're considering doing something now. I mean, we'd love if they tapped out to do something here. And they almost do. And I do love it. So, yeah, I think we play Blade Coil and make them discard 2. Gix's Command is nice, but I think, you know, given now that they have 0 creatures, using it to get rid of their last blocker is probably just going to be better. So let's play Blade Coil here. We want X to be 0. The reason it has an X cost is so if I had like 1,000,000 mana, I could pump even more into it and make them discard even more. So we don't have, you know, the mana to make that make sense. So we will play it as a 5/4 that makes them discard 2, though. Which is pretty nice. Okay, so Heavyweight Demolisher is an unearther that we need to worry about in the future. Hopefully we can kill them before it becomes a problem. Alright, so they deal with that. Combat Courier is probably just going to chump. So I can do 9 if I do the counter here. It's not quite enough. I think we just rumble here, and they're going to chump and draw a card, most likely, but that's fine. I'm not going to use the command unless it, like, gets us the win, and, you know, it kind of could, but it doesn't quite get us there. I'm going to play the Gigamole here. Ooh, we haven't seen our Gurgling Anointer yet today. That's an exciting one. Can it reanimate anything right away? No. It can reanimate things with power less than or equal to its when it dies. So that's kind of what what I was checking. We don't have something with power 1 or 0 in the graveyard right now. All right, get there. Serpent was big in that game. Those cards, there's a green-white one too, and they both have really cool designs where you can, like, pay double-colored mana any number of times and get, like, some value, and it makes them really interesting for limited because, you know, it's going to be hard if you're a limited deck to pay 2 blue, 2 black, and 2 red. Your mana is just not good enough, especially in this format, which doesn't have that much fixing. But you could easily pay, like we have a couple times, 2 black or 4 black, and that's a pretty good card. Or, you know, in a different deck, because we ended up in black-white, but in a different deck, you know, we could pay 2 black and 2 red, potentially, pretty easily. So, you know, they're all pretty cool, and the Serpent has been good for us. Okay, this is not a great hand. We don't have any early creature, and we have no black mana. I mean, if we had black mana, I would keep it, because at least we could play Anointer, and we need creatures for this to do something, and we don't have this. We do have Disenchant ready to go, but this is a hand where I really need more than one thing, so I think we have to send it back. All right, this one's definitely better. Do I send back Mine Worker or a land? That's kind of what I'm considering here. I don't know. Having a couple creatures and Moment of Defiance is pretty nice. I think we want to hold on to the creatures. Yeah, Evolving Wilds is really the only decent fixing in the set at common. There's a few, like, ways to fix your mana that I don't think are great that are around, but yeah. We'll play the Engineer. Yeah. So, Moment of Defiance, when you have a 1 toughness creature, can be a little frustrating just because our creature's probably going to die. Plus, the one that we're up against also has, you know, a graveyard ability. I do get a Power Stone out of it, which isn't nothing. Like, we could play Blade Coil Serpent a turn sooner, and I do draw a card. So it's not, like, the worst exchange. It's just not a great one either. It's probably worth doing, though. The Power Stone and the card, I think, make it worth doing. I may just take 2 here, in which case, you know, we would play... You know, we don't really have to use it if we don't want to either. We can just get the Power Stone. Yeah, I don't think we use it. It wouldn't save our creature anyway, so it's better to just get a Power Stone. You know, gets us much closer to casting our Blade Coil Serpent, you know, effectively for 5, because the Power Stone will help us. It is a sweet card, you know, from the graveyard. It unearths and then gives you some pretty real value. This is obnoxious, too, because it gives them value out of the graveyard. Or when it dies, rather, in this case. I could disfigure it and then use Moment of Defiance to kill the token if they block. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It kind of seems like our best route, though. Yeah, so let's use Disfigure. We get a 1/1. We kind of break even here because of Moment of Defiance. You know, we definitely aren't ahead of them, but I think it works okay. Gets us closer to a land to play Blade Coil. and make them discard a card. Alright, they're going to blow up the Mine Worker. Research Desk. Okay, so let's Dreams. We get to actually exile the Mutt from their graveyard and a card from their hand. Oh, so we get to hit Mishra's Juggernaut and then also Scrapwork Mutt here. That feels pretty good. And then we also just get to play Yoshin Medic. They can still use this to get a card back, and it would be the infantry, but I think we're okay with that. Ooh, all right, yeah. So if we draw a land here, we get to make them discard their last card. Let's do it. We didn't do it. That's okay. We did draw a Gigamole. You know, we're kind of a win-win. Like, what are we going to draw here? Well, whatever we draw, if it's a creature, it's going to be nice. Yeah, we'll take the Warlord's Elite here. Nice 2-for-1 when you do that. So this draws them an extra card effectively, but they kind of until your end of your next turn. Okay, so they get to see. What did they exile? Gruesome Realization's a pretty good thing to exile. They draw 2 off of it. They're still at 20 life too, so the life loss is not a problem for them really. I would have liked to get that Weld out of their hand before they had a chance to cast it, but it's not going to happen. So in this case, if we draw a land, we get to play Blade Coil and make them discard, and if we don't, we play Warlord's Elite. Works for me. Okay. Alright, so let's attack with our Gigamole. Then we'll play Warlord's Elite here. Interesting they did an emergency weld, but they might be holding onto it to get some bomb back that's already in their hand. And they're like, well, if they kill it, I'll just get it back. Which would be unfortunate for us. It is amazing. They were down to like 1 card, and then they used like Research Desk to hit Realization, and now they've got all kinds of gas. And they're going to go for some more here. They forgot to use it? Yeah, you have to pay 1 and tap it for it to let you draw the card, so. Okay, so let's attack them for 6. Something's gonna die. Yep. Then we're gonna play Blade Coil Serpent and make them discard a card. X equals 0. Alright, so they lose a Conscripted Infantry. They have 2 of those in the graveyard now, right? Yep. Okay. That's the second time today he's eaten a raise to the ground. Oh, man. Now we're all out of gas. So they hit our Trench Stalker. Okay, well, that was a good draw, to say the least. Do we have... Yeah, we have 2 creatures to get back. None of them are that exciting, but 2 creatures is 2 creatures. So, yeah, we're going to do 2 counters plus lifelink and return up to 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. Get back... I guess I probably want Engineer and Medic most of all. I can just play them both next turn if I don't draw something else to play. It's not too bad. Arms Race is interesting. I think it's a little too tough to make it work. You can cheat artifacts into play, but they only last a turn. Alright, Anointer's nice. Let's attack for 4. If the Medic was still in our graveyard, we'd be able to reanimate it. But yeah, we play Anointer and Engineer here. Nice. All right, I mean, we lost our first game to Teferi. Since then, things have gone our way for the most part. Okay, nice hand. We'll probably just fire off Dreams of Steel and Oil on turn 1. There might be something to be said for waiting so that I can also hit a graveyard card, but I think disrupting your opponent on turn 1 is nice enough that I just fire it off right away. We don't have anything else to do anyway. See what they got here. Burnished Heart, Keeper of the Cadence. We definitely want to hit the Heart. Don't want that ramp happening, and I'm not that worried about Keeper of the Cadence or Skullflayer in the near future. They both become problems later. This is a problem, like, as soon as they play it, so we'll get rid of it. They do have Defabricate, so they can counter... It's nice to know they have that. Our good friend Gix's Command is back. So yeah, we'll play Mineworker here. You know, it's nice knowing your opponent has a counterspell. It becomes easier to play around it. I mean, I would have played this on turn 2 anyway, but obviously when they have this mana up to counter Mineworker, you don't want to try to play your Mineworker. Unless you're trying to get rid of the counterspell. But it's actually not great against us. Don't we have, what do we have, 4 artifacts? So, you know, it's not amazing against us anyway. So getting the artifact down before it's ever up is good. All right, we unfortunately don't have a play this turn, which is a little sad, but I can live with it. So, Gigamole and Loran are pretty nice synergy together. It's hard to make Springleaf Drum work in Limited. You just need a bunch of cheap creatures and, like, ramp and stuff. All right. Like, reasons to ramp that much. So, we're going to go Gigamole here. They could counter this triggered ability if they wanted to. We'll grab Thraxodemon. We did not mill an artifact. That would have been kind of fun for Loran. So, yeah, Soul Flare comes on down. Do I go for the aggressive play here where I cast Gix's Command, kill their creature, and put 2 counters on one of mine? They do have Defabricate up, so they could counter... Neither of those are triggered abilities, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it seems pretty good for me to go the Gix's Command route here. Yeah, so we'll go Gix's Command, counters, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Put the counters on Gigamole. Attack them for 6. So they can play a, what is this? It's like a 2/5, so it does actually block fairly well here. You know, unless we got a trick or something. I think I swing with both because if they block and kill Mineworker, I just get it back and play it again. So that's actually pretty nice overall. And that means they go to 6 if they don't block, you know, if they block the Gigamole. So, nice. So they go to 6. Then we play Loran. Get that artifact back. And it's a window where Defabricate doesn't do anything. Alright, that is big. This figure's helpful. This mills us and stuff, but I think we kill them before that ever matters. So we just attack with everything here. We can use Disfigure to finish it off. It does have Unearth, but, you know, It's whatever. 3/5. I can actually make it so it can't kill my creature here, which is pretty nice. Drops them to 1. And we'll play out Thraxodemon. So they can unearth this and attack us and mill a bunch, but it's not going to matter in time. Yeah, it did not. Gix's Command. And the Gigamoles, man, they've been good. I mean, that whole cycle of commons that all, like, mill 3 things and you get a thing back if you hit the right thing or they get a counter. Those are all pretty nice. Pretty nice cards. I think the white one might be the best, but, you know, the Gigamole's nice, too. It's kind of interesting. The last 2 sets have had, like, a cycle of commons that all do sort of similar things, but, you know, are sort of do a different thing to tell you what that color is interested in. And the last set, there were all of the, what were they? They're like big creatures from Dominaria United that had their cost reduced by something, whether it was domain or the power of your creature or instants and sorceries in the graveyard. And this cycle of mill 3, get a thing back sort of feels like this format's version of that, where, you know, there's a certain thing that certain colors are more interested in, whether, you know, the blue one gets back a non-creature spell, the white one gets back a plains or a cheap creature, black one gets back a creature, etc. So, pretty good hand. You know, Firebomb's a little awkward to, like, slam on the board early, but I think we probably end up doing it. We now know it has flash, so, you know. The reason it's awkward is they can blow it up one way or another. This thing is good. Every time they play an artifact, they look at the top card. If it's a land, they draw a card. And if it's not, they can surveil 1. In other words, they can put it into their graveyard if they want to. So, drawing a 2-drop there was pretty sweet. Are you dead, Thraxodemon? Feels like you might be. Prison sentenced. You get to attack us for 1. All right. So we play Anointer. It's rough that they did this to our poor Thraxodemon because these two synergize quite well together, where this draws us a card, this gets a counter. They can kill it anyway. We don't have a small thing to reanimate, unfortunately. See, that's gross. You get a Power Stone, kill my creature, and then they got to look at the top card of their library? That's messed up. There's another Gigamole. And we are not too far away from Blade Coil Serpent, making them discard. Alright, we will grab Power Stone Engineer pretty happily. That card's very good. You know, it has great stats, but then it can put a counter on itself every turn. So we kind of need to find a way to kill it. We're pretty far away from, you know, Goblin Firebomb doing its thing right now. I want to play Power Stone Engineer. That would at least let me, like, I can trade it off for the Power Stone and then play Blade Coil Serpent next turn. Yeah, I don't hate that. And the Power Stone also gets us closer to Firebomb territory. So yeah, we'll just play the Engineer and pass. We can flash in the Paratrooper if we decide we want to. And I guess we'll probably want to. Because we're not doing anything else with our mana. Yeah. We didn't get, you know, our deck has a lot of sweet stuff for this format, especially Power Stones, but we didn't get any prototype creatures that we actually ended up playing, which is kind of sad, because it's, I think, one of the cooler mechanics in the set, but, you know, we have a really cool mythic. Ooh, another really good rare. We might get outpowered, outmuscled this time. Puts 2 counters on something. How wonderful is that? They decided to leave cards on top both times they've triggered the Steel Seeker. So we definitely block with Power Stone Engineer here. We want the Power Stone. And we want it pretty badly. Both for Blade Coil Serpent and Goblin Firebomb. So we could use the Firebomb here. The question is whether they have a card that, like, gives their creature hexproof, and there is a green trick that would stop me from being able to Firebomb their creature. It sort of feels like we gotta do it, you know, which is not a great place to be, but I guess we could probably hold off a little longer. Just try to play Blade Coil here instead. I think that may be the plan. Let's attack with the Paratrooper and see what happens. We get in for 1. Yeah, we'll let them hold on to the Assembler for now, and, you know, I could wait until I get another black, but I think just playing this and making them discard 1 is pretty good. What do we make them discard? Reconstructed Thopter, which they can bring back and get another trigger from their Steel Seeker. I'd probably just take 7 from the thing here. I could block with our Gigamole, I guess, but I don't really want to. I think I'm okay with going to 11. Yep. So they get this trigger. They've left everything on top and haven't hit a land at all, which is interesting. So I do think we block the Simulacrum. Yeah, it can come back and give counters to something, but if they put all the counters on one thing, I kind of think I'm okay with it. All right, so they had Giant Growth, which was a real possibility, but I think, yeah. Military Discipline's interesting. So I think we just try to fire off the Firebomb here. Get this out of the way. Hexproof and Indestructible. Both times today we tried to use a Firebomb. It went horribly wrong. So that's not fun. So I don't really think there's a reason to attack with our Paratrooper. So we need to draw Gix's Command, basically. That's what we're looking at here. I think that's what we're looking at. You know, Gigamole technically increases our chances of drawing it. There is the chance that we end up milling it, of course. But that's okay. I wonder if they have another Giant Growth. What do you think? It's an ugly spot here. I think we go ahead and block both. Okay. Works for me. Okay. Luckily, they didn't play the normal version of that, because a 6/5 would be a pretty massive problem. They did put a thing in their graveyard now. Okay. Well, kind of need to hit 2 things here. I mean, you know, hit something we can play off of Gigamole. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I'm in some trouble. Do we hit Gix's command on accident? No. Do I want the scrap work? I think we probably do. Gets us closer to finding Gix's command. I mean, I could unearth it, but I think getting the trigger twice is just better. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. No attacks. Put another counter on the autonomous assembler. This can come back, put 2 more counters on something, which I don't love, but... Yep. Wonder where they put them. Boulder Branch? Yeah. I think we're in a place where we try to trade Blade Coil Serpent for that. And we chump the assembler and block with Gigamole. Chumping lets us draw another card, so... Yeah. So we chump block you, we trade with you, and block that, and hopefully keep the Gigamole. We do keep the Gigamole. Disenchant would do the job too. I think if we can deal with the assembler, we can maybe turn the game around, but, you know, we're unfortunately kind of a far way away from dealing with it. Alright, so let's play the Rager. Come on, Gix's command or disenchant. Ahaha, we did it. Okay, and then we're going to get 2 creatures back too. Beautiful. Yep, that is beautiful. And actually, if I use it now, I actually have an attack with my Rager. So, I mean, gaining life is tempting, but I think getting creatures back is just better. I can make them discard 2 now with Blade Coil Serpent. Not sure how much that will actually matter, but, you know. So, we get back the Serpent for sure. Do I just want Gigamole? We don't have any ways to draw cards in our hand right now, and we just used up our, whatchamacallit, Unearth guy, Scrapwork Rager. So I think we grab Gigamole and Blade Coil, yeah. Attack with Scrapwork Rager. Nice. 2 free damage. So unless they play out both their cards here, we definitely play Blade Coil this turn. We can actually play Blade Coil and Warlord's Elite if we don't draw a land, and if we do draw a land, we can play the Gigamole. Which is nice. Thank God we dealt with that. Dealt with that. It was a problem. They seem to be a full-on 3-color deck. Aw, oh, man, they're going to kill our Gigamole. With our life as low as it is, like, our opponent can, unfortunately, you know, find a way to just punch through for some damage. You know, like this. So we're going to take 5 here. That is not what I wanted to see. Does that make things different? A little bit, because I can't even take... Yeah, so I think we play Gigamole first. And then maybe we play Warlord's Elite. Dream of Steel and Oil is so bad here. We get a 3/4. I'll take it. Yeah, so now we want to play Warlord's Elite. We want to leave up white mana, though. So we can play Military Discipline if necessary. So Warlord's Elite... Tap this, tap that. Gives us 2 pretty big creatures. Let's hope they do not find a way to punch through for the damage they need to do to kill me. Oh no. They can't use it yet, but this equips and then starts making copies of something every single turn. So they can use it next turn. If they hit a land here, they can use it now. Great, okay. Does that mean we're dead? I think that might mean we're dead. So they put that there. Make 2. Yeah, that means we're dead. Darn it. We almost got there. We almost stabilized, but in the end, we couldn't quite do it. Should I have gained the life? I mean, I don't think so. If we had done that instead of getting the creatures, we wouldn't have had a board state to contend with what they were doing. So I think it's fine in the end. Alright, pretty good hand. Might be able to play Warlord's Elite on turn 3. Now, probably we have to wait till turn 4, but we did get our command in our opening hand, which is nice. Alright, well, we have a 2-drop that might be a little better, especially since we're on the play... on the draw, rather. It's probably better, given that they have no board state at all, to just play the Mine Worker. Does Mine Worker die here? No. We're definitely willing to trade Mine Worker off for the Tamaqul Honor Guard. Then we'll play Ambush Paratrooper. We can actually... we'll wait until their turn to play the Paratrooper. Might even just be worth flashing it in to block and kill the Honor Guard, but because of tricks, it's probably not. Alright, so flash in Paratrooper. Trying to decide how I want to use, what I want to tap for our Elite. I'd rather trade Mine Worker for Tamaqul Honor Guard, so I think we're going to tap our Paratrooper. We could attack for one and then tap both our creatures, but I don't think it's worth doing. See, I'll tap this, tap this. Do they have removal for our Warlord's Elite? They don't really desperately need removal. They could just play an artifact. This becomes a 4/3, and then they have a pretty good attack. But removal really is bad for us, I think. Good value there. You get to sack your Wellspring, so you draw a card, so you're not really giving up anything. And then they kill a creature. Gix's command, like if I get to trade this off here, Gix's command to kill their best creature and then get 2 things back looks pretty good. Oop. So we block there. Guess I could have gained a life. Left a life on the table there. Yeah, then we will... Gix's command. Return 2 creatures and kill your big creature. That is a 3-for-1. It's always nice. I do think we rumble here. We can play a Blade Coil Serpent next turn if we want to. We could also just play Warlord's Elite and Mine Worker again. Yeah, so the black-green deck wants to mill itself, and that is what Burrowing Razor Maw does. I I think given what they played, I'd much rather play Elite and Mindworker here. Yeah, so I'm not going to attack this turn so that I can tap the Paratrooper. Because I'd rather trade the Mindworker. I mean, the Mindworker can trade for the Razor Maw, so makes sense. If they make me, I think I would also trade the Elite for the Razor Maw. And they might make me. Alright, Iron Claw Crusher. Lets them buff something when it attacks. It can buff itself too, unfortunately. Okay. We will attack for 1 now. It's sort of tempting here just to leave mana up so that I can buff with the Ambush Paratrooper's ability. But I think just playing Blade Coil and making them discard is pretty good. I don't have a 1. Yeah, no. So play Blade Coil here. X equals 0. Confirm. I have a hard choice about what to discard. That always helps. Always makes me feel better. They are also black-green, so chances are better than normal. They can discard something and not lose the full value of that card because they're a graveyard deck. We haven't really seen them do anything super graveyardy. I guess Emergency Weld is a little graveyardy. Yep, so they discard Scrapwork Rager, card they can get back for value, so makes sense. I guess Iron Claw Crusher probably attacks us and buffs itself. So 4/5. Do I double block it if it does that? I think maybe I do. Tricks are such a problem that I'm less than enthused about the idea. But I think we try. Looks like it's actually going to work. Nice. Alright, well, we can play both the cards in our hand, which is nice enough. We will attack for 1 again. Then play Tombstalker and Gurgling Anointer. With these two in play, what we really want to do is draw a card that draws us a card. We have a few of them. Our Scrapwork Rager would be the sweetest, because it'll trigger a couple of times, but we also have that combat trick. Sack Ichor Wellspring here, yep. Hit me for 3. Yep. Hmm. 3, 6. We will gain a life. That is not Scrapwork Rager. However, we do now have mana for Ambush Paratrooper's ability up. I don't gain much by playing this land. I guess theoretically next turn I might have 10 mana to use it twice. But I think bluffing that I have something is probably wise. Then we just pass and try to block with Gurgling Anointer. The Anointer gets up to 2 power with that ability, but we still don't have anything to reanimate, so it's a bummer. So they can bring this back and then sack it to the Acrobat to give it flying again, which is pretty cool. In addition to the fact that, you know, it draws them a card, which is always sweet. They could also have a trick here to, or a removal spell that involves sacking this, which is really good value too. In response, I definitely use Paratrooper's ability if they kill my Paratrooper. Yep. Okay. So it's what we do. Unfortunately, we lose our Paratrooper though. So if they attack me here with kills Zone Acrobat, I definitely block because I get to reanimate the Paratrooper now, which is a fine deal, I think. Would it be cool to get this even bigger? Sure, but there's no guarantee it happens, and trading off for the Acrobat, getting back Paratrooper is a pretty good exchange. I think if I were them, I would just not attack this turn, because doing so... I mean, I don't have this ability again. Although, this is a 1-2, so I'll be able to reanimate it no matter what, but I won't be able to trade with the Acrobat in the future, unless I draw a card. Extra card, that is. So I don't think I would attack with the Acrobat. I might attack with the Razor Maw. No, I have a 5-6, so maybe not. They don't really have a good attack. Acrobat's their best one, and I don't think it's great. Yep, I think that was the right thing to do for them, unfortunately for us. Okay, well... let's see what's in their hand. It's not the best thing to draw in the world. Yep. I do get to exile something from their graveyard, and I guess I'm going to go for the Crusher. But yeah, that's not exactly the value you're hoping for. Another artifact that replaces itself that can be a good sack outlet, because it draws them a card. But they have the mana that, yeah, they might as well just draw the card right away. Ooh, Thran Spider. I don't like that. So I get a Power Stone, but it's not like that helps me right here. And they now have an ability that lets them get all kinds of value out of their deck. Pay 7, look at the top 4, and reveal an artifact and put it in your hand. We're just going to take 3 here. Oh, hello. Isn't that interesting? So, I think we attack here. We kind of hope they block so that Trench Stalker can really do its work. But either way, I think we attack here. So, Moment of Defiance here lets us kill both these creatures because this will gain Death Touch and Lifelink. So that is a very nice sequence for us. I also gain a bunch of life. I like that part too. I can also kill Zone Acrobat, so that was all a very good exchange for us. Go back up to 18. Kill their Acrobat. And we end our turn. So, yeah, we definitely block this. Gain 1. Hopefully they don't mill anything that gives them too much action out of the graveyard. Yeah, I can live with a reconstructed Thopter, I think. That sequence where we got to use our trick was big. You know, I was saying if we can draw one of those cards, we're going to be in business, and then we did, so. So they can swing back at us for 4, so I think we just go for it. Hope they can't kill us with a trick or something. Did we get there? I think we did. Nice. Having both our draw payoffs in our hand when that happened was just so good. The Death Touch, you know, being able to kill the 3/6 and the 2/4 was just so good. Good old limited. All right, so we got one more game with this deck. No matter what happens, we'll either go 6-3 or 7-2. Either way, pretty happy with this for my first time in the format. Definitely have a sweet deck with powerful rares, you know, good removal, and, you know, the graveyard action's been nice too. Okay, looks like a solid hand. Our friends the Gigamoles are here. You know, this creature might look really scary. I mean, and it does. You know, it's a mole horror, but, like, it's basically just a gigantic version of a star-nosed mole, which is a real animal that has that thing on its face. So that's a little scary that this sort of exists. Now, it doesn't have the 6 legs and stuff going on, but... All right, so we definitely fire off Disfigure here. We have Mishra's Foundry, which is sweet. It's a creature land. They're Power Stone Engineer. You know, that first game was rough, where we got crushed by Teferi and then never drew our rares, but then in every other game we've, like, drawn all our rares, so... So that's been pretty nice. So they may animate that, and if they did, I would disenchant it, because it's an artifact. Basically lets me blow up a land. Ooh, that is not good. So this lets them drain me for 2 if they draw an extra card, first of all. Second of all, when it dies, it'll reanimate this. So it's, like, insanely good. Very hard to interact with it in any way and come out ahead. Like, even Gix's command, like, isn't going to feel amazing there. But we will play a Gigamole here. Okay, we definitely want Siege Veteran back. It is super powerful. I guess that's our rare we've seen the least. We had one game that it did win us one game, though. Pristine Talisman, so some ramp that gains them life. Sure. So... They got 2 mana up, so they may be able to really wreck us when it comes to things. Like, they may be able to blow something up in response. I mean, I think we do it anyway. I think we play Siege Veteran here. Interesting. You only wanted to do that to gain the life? So... I think we do it to the Engineer, because if we trade the Engineer, they don't reanimate this. It doesn't feel that bad to me. I mean, it's not awesome, but it doesn't feel that bad. I don't think we use Disenchant on this right now. Am I going to regret that? Are they going to ramp into something really scary? Maybe. But I just feel like we'll probably have a juicier target for it. We, of course, have Gix's command ready to go, which is great news. And now we have all 3 of our super powerful rares, so... Okay, see, I'd rather disenchant that, for sure. Like, that's a real card. It is sad that you're going to take away my Scrapwork Rager, though. Yeah, we definitely take 4 here. And then we're going to disenchant the Swift Gear at the end of their turn. Which means we get in a big swing here. And we can make them discard. Luckily, they can't reanimate this, so we're still only looking at that other card. I probably do want to play this and make them discard. Let's spread out the buff a little bit here. And then play Stone Coil. I don't really see a way we lose this game barring something incredible happening, because we have like an amazing board, and then Gix's command is just gonna slam the door shut one way or another, which, you know, whatever it is we have to do with it. All right, we made them discard a Clear Cutter. Next turn, I can buff Blade Coil and then swing with all 3 of these, which is pretty nice. Well, that complicates things. So, what do I want to do with Gix's command? If I play Gix's command, they'll sacrifice the Puppeteer and they'll get back Gixian Infiltrator. But then they'll have a 2-1 and a 4-5, and I could put counters and gain lifelink like on Blade Coil, and it's not like they have good blocks. Yeah. Yep, that's what we'll do here. So, wait a second. Power 2 or less? No, that doesn't do anything for us. Yeah, so we do this, do this. We're going to put the counters here. Sacrifice Puppeteer. Get back your smaller creature. And we put another counter here. What happens if I swing out here? Block this. Yeah, it's not worth the swing out here yet. But they also have no good blocks for that. So we go up to 24. We have Gigamole to hopefully let us double spell on a future turn. Ooh, Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. That's not really what I was hoping to see. But it could be worse. So buffing this again doesn't do much for us. So I think I'm actually going to buff the Gigamole. And then attack with both of these. With a card in their hand and the Foundry around a chump block, we don't have... It might kind of look like we're close to lethal, but we're not. Ooh, that's bad. Wow, they took it. Well, that makes it a lot less bad. So if they had double blocked, I mean, they were worried I had a trick or something. I didn't, but I'm glad they didn't block. Okay. Do we have an artifact in our graveyard? No. I think we still play her just to get another body out there. Opponent's at 7 after all, so... There's Gurgling Anointer. Let's put another counter here. So, they can gain 3, they can gain 4, they can go up to 11. I'm definitely attacking with the Gigamole, but I think that's it, unfortunately. If they double block, and I guess they probably will, maybe they don't. Yeah, so if they double block, I kind of think letting them hold on to the 3/3 is okay, because all of my creatures can attack through that thing. They do get to gain 3 life here, and it'll keep gaining them life, but I think that's okay. So, yeah. Hopefully they don't draw something else really scary. Like, we're kind of hoping they don't, and we just have a board that can swing hard here. Because if we buff this, we can attack with this, 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 and this. Everything but Siege Veteran would get in there. All right, Unwinding Clock doesn't worry me. It does gain them a life. And that's a thing. So, yeah, we buff Gigamole here. I'm going to block and trade. That life gain was annoying. Play Warlord's Elite. Did we get there? Nice. All right, well, got to 7 wins with this thing, and it's not too surprising. You know, we didn't get the most synergistic deck in the world, but we got powerful rares. We played the deck that had the most power, even if it didn't have the most synergy. So, thanks for watching here on the official YouTube channel for Magic the Gathering. I'll see you all in the next video.